Hello, and thank you all for being here. We're very excited to have you here. This is the virtual college exploration for all New Jersey students, and it's sponsored by the New Jersey Association of College Admissions, Counseling, and Strive Scan. So thank you again for joining us. A few housekeeping rules before we get started. You can use the Q&A button that you see there to type any of your questions to our presenters at any time. You do not have to wait till the end. So as the questions come up, just type them up in the little Q&A, and the presenter will answer them to you as she gets there. Your camera and your microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. So the only way to communicate is through the Q&A. This is just one of many different sessions happening. So please be sure to check out the full schedule at our website, njacac.org/virtual fair. This presentation is being recorded and we will be available within a week at the same website, njacac.org/virtual fair. And you'll be able to catch this one on demand or any of the other ones that you may have missed. So at this point, I would love to turn it over to our presenter.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So my name is Jacqueline. I am the admissions counselor that works with all students from New Jersey. So I would answer any questions you have about the AUP, about the application, about financial aid, housing, registration, everything. So you can see my name and email here, and the last slide will also have my email as well, so that you're free to get in contact with me whenever you need it. Okay, so to start off, AUP, we are a fully American liberal arts university. So what that means is that all of our classes are in English. It's an American degree. We're accredited in the US. We are also a liberal arts college, 4-year program, so bachelor's degrees. The only difference is just our location. So it's like you took an American liberal arts college and just dropped it in Paris. In terms of our student body, we're only about 1,000 students, so we're definitely on the smaller side. Average class size is like maybe between 10 and 15. So definitely those are small as well. We do pull more than half of our students from the US. New York and New Jersey are 2 of our top 5 states, so you definitely be in good company there. And then we get about 30% from Europe, and then 20% come from the rest of the world. So other, Africa, Asia, Australia, South America. We're actually one of the most diverse colleges in the world, which I'm really proud to talk about. And what I love telling American high school students too is that you are also contributing to that diversity. So, you're going abroad to college and you're going to be surrounded by people from all over the world who are very interested in what your perspective is as an American student. So I think that's really a cool and unique position for you to be in. One important note too, that, while we do get a lot of our students from the US and from France, French is not a requirement in order to apply. So even if you've never taken a French class, that is totally okay. We'll of course have you take some French while you're there so that you can get by, but it's not a requirement in order to apply. In terms of our majors and minors, they can all be divided into these categories. You can also double major, you can double minor, you can design your own major, and you don't have to know right away either. That's the beauty of being a liberal arts college, is that you have a couple of years before you need to make that decision. So, the application will ask you, what do you want to major in? And it's totally okay to put undecided, or it's okay if you put, art history and then later on you change your mind. It won't be held against you at all. We're definitely stronger in some programs. And then we sort of don't offer some other common ones that students sometimes want. So we're strong in the humanities and the social sciences. So for humanities, think like creative writing, art history, French. Those are great programs. In the social sciences, global communications is like by far our biggest, most successful program. International and comparative politics as well. And on that note, we actually have another program. It's called the PPE program, stands for Political Science, Philosophy, and Economics. This particular combination This program is pretty rare in the US, but it's a bit more common outside of the US. It was pioneered by Oxford in the 20s. So we modeled our program after theirs. This program has like created countless world leaders, prime ministers, things like that. So if you're thinking of maybe law school or like an elected official position down the road, the PPE program could be a great match for you. Again, not so well known in the US, but it definitely attracts a lot of international students at AUP. We do have a growing psychology program. We do have a growing environmental science program, but that is about as sciencey as we get. So if you are looking for something like pre-med, engineering, we just don't offer those programs. So we would, of course, encourage you to enroll at another university that did, and then maybe spend a semester with us studying abroad, getting some of your gen eds out of the way, like foreign languages, government classes, things like that. We would certainly be happy to have you. And then I just like to jump right into the internships. I think this is one of our strengths as an institution. AUP, we are the oldest American university in Europe. And why I think that matters is because, especially in regards to this, we're well established there. So while in the US, we might still be getting our name out there, in Europe and especially in France, we're already well known. So this is a list of companies that regularly recruit AUP students. You know, if you're interested in politics, I know the US Embassy in France takes AUP students every semester. We certainly have a number of students that are interested in fashion. So we don't have fashion design, but students that are interested in like fashion PR, fashion marketing, journalism, those types of programs, they end up interning more often than not at Paris Vogue and Chanel and Stella McCartney, Paris Fashion Week. So there's lots of internships available there. The really cool thing about these two is that over 85% of them are in English. So if you don't speak French, that's okay. These are still accessible to you. And most French internships are also paid. So you don't always see that in the US either. So that's a great advantage. One thing that the career office does at AUP, which I've never seen in another college before, is they actually create what's called the Global Talent Brochure. So they compile the resumes of AUP students who are interested in participating. And this brochure goes out to Parisian employers pretty regularly. And so these companies will look through it. You know, they have positions in mind they're looking to fill. They look for students who fit what they're looking for, and then they come and recruit you directly. So sometimes you don't even have to apply to these internships. They just like fall on your lap, which is pretty awesome. And I know would take like a huge burden off me if I was a student. There was even a recent semester where we didn't send it out just because we were transitioning to a new format. And in that interim, we had a ton of companies reaching out to our careers office asking specifically for this because they have really come to rely on it to fill their position. So that just showed us how valued AUP students are, and also help confirm what we've already been telling students, which is that English speakers are very highly valued in France. There's lots of English language companies moving over to France right now. So you're definitely in a great situation as an AUP student if you're looking for work. Okay, so to transition now over to sort of campus, student life, the non-academic side, location. So we are located in the 7th arrondissement of Paris, so right by the Eiffel Tower. You can't get more centrally located than that. It's a perfect location. As you can see on the map, you know, the Seine flows along the edge of campus. There's several metro stops right there. The Rodin Museum's like 5 minutes away. So really, really great central location. And we're also a city campus. So we're not, you know, walled off or have an own separate area. We're integrated into the neighborhood. So if you're looking for that more kind of urban feel, then that's what we offer. I'm just going to show some pictures of campus and like the neighborhood. So this is just right down the street from the admissions building. As you can see, residential, but then there's also, you know, pharmacies and clothing stores, grocery stores, restaurants, cafes, things like that. And then here is a picture from the Quai d'Orsay, which is one of our new buildings. That balcony there actually overlooks the Seine too and has some great views. I don't know if you do already, but if you follow AUP admissions on Instagram, about weekly, every Tuesday, we do like a student takeover. So a current AUP student will take over the Instagram and, you know, show what their day's like and the stories. But just last week we had our AUP student takeover. They were out on this balcony showing pictures of the view, and it's just like great. So if you don't already follow them, I would totally recommend you do. And this is a classroom in the Combs Building. The Combs Building is also home to a lot of like club and organization offices, sort of like a student life building. And then this is just kind of like a lobby, hangout, study area in the Grinnell Building. This building will also hold like other classrooms and some faculty offices, so you'll probably find yourself here too. Okay, so for housing. So as an international university located in an urban area, I'm very proud to say that, you know, AUP does guarantee housing for students all 4 years, but we only require it the first. So, you know, you don't have to worry about not only moving to a new country, but also trying to find your own apartment and navigating French landlords and leases and utilities and all of that. It's all taken care of for you within our AUP housing. But it is going to look a little bit different than you might be used to in the US. So we don't have any like dorms or residence halls. All of our housing is apartment style. They do come fully furnished. They come with full kitchens, which is important to note because we don't have meal plans. They come with laundry in unit, private bathrooms. So really a great option. Your roommates will be other AUP students. And then there also might be some other AUP apartments in the building and on the block. But the building itself will more than likely be a French residential building. So again, not your typical, you know, US experience. It's going to be a much more kind of authentic French lifestyle you'll be living. All of our housing is also located within the city of Paris. We have different sort of tiers and prices depending on where you want to live. So of course, we do have those students that want to live right by the Eiffel Tower. We offer housing there. It runs about 2,000 euros a month. But most students, and we encourage, and they're actually happiest with, our standard housing location. Mostly in like the 14th and 16th arrondissements. I think the 14th borders the 7th. It's about an hour walk to campus or about a half-hour metro commute. None of our housing is further than a half-hour commute away. But we recommend that students live in that standard option. It's about 850 euros a month, because, you know, where AUP is the 7th, it's gorgeous, but it's also very touristy. And, you know, it's easy to get away with speaking English the whole time. So students that end up living in the more residential, kind of off the beaten path neighborhoods, they just totally love it because they feel like they have that more authentic lifestyle. You know, they find their own like cafes and grocery stores, and they can practice their French. And then they just sort of feel like they have that piece of Paris that belongs to them that's separate from school. So I think that's like a really cool thing that we offer too. And then this I like to show because it's just a snapshot of some of the clubs and organizations that we offer. So this is just a little bit of them. We have, I think, over 100, 120. But I do feel like we differ in a lot of US colleges in this regard. So, you know, AUP students, we say, tend to be a little more dinner party than frat party. So, you know, we don't have like tailgating or Greek life or football. A lot of our clubs and organizations revolve around food and wine, culture, diversity, fashion, politics, service. So you can see some of the clubs here, like the Wine Society Club. I think I don't often see in the US. We have the Black and Abroad Club. AUP Sustainable Fashion Club is really blowing up right now. So that's getting popular. One of my favorites too, and a student favorite, is a service organization called Beit Navu. They work with Syrian refugee children who've just arrived in Paris who don't have either English nor French language skills. So AUP students help them develop their language and literacy skills. So that's also become a really popular organization. AUP students love getting involved in that. And we do have some athletics too. So these compete against other French universities. So we have men and women's equestrian. We have men's basketball, men's futsal, which is like an indoor soccer. We have women's volleyball as well. And then outside of the sort of competitive French teams, we have like a dance team, we have a running club, we have a rowing team, tennis team. So definitely lots of ways to get involved. And also gym memberships. So AUP students get discounted memberships to 2 different gyms in Paris. One is a chain that has locations all over the city. Okay, and then this I like to show because I think sometimes students hear, okay, so you don't have, you know, residence halls or football, like do you still have a sense of school spirit? Do you still have a sense of community? And we do. It just is going to look very different, again, than you might find in the US. So I like to show this picture because AUP is really fantastic at being intentional about building in opportunities for you to connect with other students. So, you know, we're pretty unique in the fact that 85% of our students come from outside the country. So we know that you might be coming to France, not knowing anybody, and just arriving alone. And so we're there to make sure that you are being supported, you're meeting other people. So orientation, for example, it's about a week long. So you'll arrive about a week before classes start, move into your housing, settle in for a day or two. And then all week long, we offer lots of support in helping you set up your French bank account, your French cell phone, your Metro card, all of those logistical things. But then also, like I mentioned, interacting with other students. So this picture here is from our annual boat cruise along the Seine. We do this every year. We actually just did it a few weeks ago with our incoming first-year students. So that's a great way to kind of get to know other people. But my favorite thing they do is actually take all the first-year students on a trip. So you'll arrive in Paris, and then literally like 5 or 6 days later, you're off again. So I think last year or the year before, they went to the Burgundy region in France, and they did wine tastings and visited cathedrals and just got to know each other and bond before classes even started. So they had already found a core group of friends. They already got to know faculty members and advisors. And then just in general, I think the nature of being like an expat student, you know, AUP students tend to cling together pretty closely, and then they end up forming really strong bonds, strong relationships that just last a lifetime. So I think it's nice to know that, you know, AUP does offer a lot of those opportunities so that you do not feel like you're totally alone. Okay, so travel. Of course, AUP students are attracted to us because they love traveling. So a common question we do get is, can I study abroad while at AUP? You absolutely can. So you do not have to stay in Paris all 4 years. We have partnerships with universities all over the world. But then we also like embed these trips within the curriculum. So they're called study trips. They're linked to specific courses, but they're open to anybody. So you'll see them advertised around campus. So this is just maybe a snapshot of like 6, but we usually do like maybe between 30 and 40 a semester. We're even doing them now during COVID. They're just a little more local, like France and Europe based. But some other examples, like there's a creative writing class that goes to the Globe Theatre in London to study Shakespeare. There's like an Italian and art history class. They travel down to the Vatican and Rome. We have international marketing. They spend a week in Iceland to study branding. Sustainable development students do like a 3-week practicum in India their senior year. So definitely lots of opportunities for travel. And then AUP also offers like non-academic trips. So we call these cultural excursions, or more just for fun, often at a discount. So you'll see these also advertised all over campus and in your email. So these are going to be more like France-based. So it could be going to like the opera in Paris for 20 euros, or it could be spending a weekend in the Champagne region. And then AUP also offers, like, they'll do their own tours. You can sign up for like a literary tour of Paris or like an underground tour of Paris. So those are free and included. And then also our classes take advantage of where they are at. So you're not going to be spending every day in the classroom. One of my favorite classes is called Paris Through Its Museums, and they actually meet in a different museum every day instead of the classroom. We also have Paris Through Its Architecture, Paris Through Its Photography. You know, if you're taking a film class, you can bet you'll be going to a film screening with your class in Paris. If we have like a food anthropology course that travels down to a cheese farm, right? So there's going to be so many opportunities for you to get around and travel. Okay, and then these last few slides just go over the application process and financial aid. So we are on the Common App, which I think makes it really easy, or you can apply on our website. We do not require anything extra as an international university. So we're American, so it's your transcripts, 2 letters of recommendation, you know, the Common App essay. We do have a supplemental essay, but it's not too long. It's about 300 words, just basically asks you, you know, how do you see yourself aligning with AUP's mission? How do you see yourself as a global citizen? How do you feel like AUP will help you reach your career goals? So there will be that. You might see when you apply that there's a requirement saying that you need to submit an English language proficiency test. You can disregard. If you're applying from the US, more often than not, we'll go ahead and waive that once we get your transcript, so you don't have to worry about that. And we are test optional. So this isn't a COVID related policy. We've always been test optional. And we're test optional when it comes to scholarships as well. So I think that's good to know. Okay, so this shows what we're looking for. So our average incoming GPA is about a 3.3 unweighted. However, that's not a cutoff. We do practice that holistic admissions approach when we review your application. And we really do focus on fit more than anything. So I know like every college does that now, but at AUP, I think it really does matter. It takes a special kind of student to be able to be successful and come over and spend all 4 years with us. So, you know, if you've had experiences like if you've lived abroad or you've done programs abroad or things like that, of course we would love to know about it, but it's not a requirement. So like I said, you don't even have to have taken French or left the country in order to apply. But we do want to see an interest in sort of having that more global mindset. So maybe you're taking other languages, maybe you're involved in Model UN, maybe you're teaching yourself your own language or new language on the side. We'd love to see things like if you have your own YouTube channel or blog, like we'd love to see that. But overall, I would say characteristic wise, AUP students tend to be attracted to us. They're a certain way. It's also kind of what we look for. So students that are a bit more adventurous, they're more open-minded. They're looking to get outside their comfort zone. They tend to be a little bit more independent, a little bit more mature than the average high schooler. Again, because we don't have a meal plan, so you're cooking your own meals. You are commuting to campus more often than not. So you need to be able to handle yourself abroad like that. And then in short, they're just like the students where, 1 or 2 semesters of studying abroad isn't enough. Like they just want to dig in, they want to jump in right away to the international education. They want to start building that global network, to start having the international lifestyle. That's usually the type of students we attract and what we look for. Okay, and then the last couple we'll go over cost. So in terms of the tuition and your living expenses, so that includes your housing, your books, your groceries, your Metro card, cell phone, all of that. We're at about 50,000 euros for the year, or about 60,000 in today's exchange rate in US dollars. So we're not the cheapest college out there, but also not the most expensive, especially for being centrally located in Paris and including everything. We do offer financial aid, but the average award is about 10,000 euros. So we don't have any like full ride scholarships. We offer both merit-based and need-based aid, and we're on the FAFSA. So you can bring over most of the FAFSA funds that you are eligible for, with the exception of any federal or state grants. You can't take those over to France, but like any of the loans or things like that, you can take those over to help you cover the cost of attendance. And then I'm not sure if we have any students that are in an IB school or pursuing an IB diploma, but we have a very generous scholarships and transfer credit policy for IB students. So for example, if you take your diploma exam and you get a score of 30 or above, you automatically guarantee you can bring in a full year of credits, which is great. And if you have below that, for every HL score of 4 or above, you can bring in 8 credits. So that means like that's about 2 courses worth for every exam that you pass. And then we also offer scholarships for IB students, depending on your final exam score. So starting at 7,000 euros a year, going up to 20,000. So those are higher than our usual awards. Unfortunately, you cannot combine them with the other merit and need-based aid I talked about on that other slide. But if you are eligible for both, we will just award you whichever's higher, and they are renewable all 4 years as well. Okay, so I'm going to end on this screen just so that you can write down my name and email. Again, I work with all students from New Jersey. So, and one thing I like about this job too, and why I took it, is because, at other colleges, once you apply, you have your admissions counselor, they read your application, review it, and then that's it. But here I will do everything. So I will review your application, but I'm also reviewing your financial aid. I am helping you pick your courses over the summer, helping you choose your housing. We offer a lot of support during the French student visa application process. So we'll do webinars, we'll go through the application page by page. We even help you choose your flight. So literally from now until you land in Paris, I will be your go-to person. So parents want to talk to me, anything like that, I'm always happy to do that. And then, so that's it. So I'm going to see if we had any questions come in. Looks like none yet. So again, you can ask any questions in that Q&A section. In the meantime, while you're getting those questions going, I can address some common ones. like COVID, for example. So this year we are doing in-person classes, as all French universities are. We, because we have small class sizes, 10 to 15 students, it was very easy to socially distance. And plus in France and in Paris, masks are required everywhere in all public spaces and even outdoors in Paris. So that helped us feel safer. We did get a lot more, we switched up housing a little bit so that we could have a lot more single rooms available for students. And we did bring in almost a full class this fall. So that's including American students. I think that there is a little bit of a misconception when there was that US travel ban that went into effect over the summer, but that did not affect students. So France has been open and welcoming to international students. So I don't know one person this whole semester that was denied their French student visa. So again, we're gonna help you through that process. Once you have that in hand, you're able to arrive. So we got one question that came in about AP credits. So yeah, if you get a score of 4 or above on an AP exam, then you can bring in 4 semester credits. So that's about the equivalent of 1 class per AP exam. If there's any other questions, feel free to kind of have those come in. In the meantime, I'll try and think of some other common ones that we do get. But I think COVID related is probably the biggest ones that I've been getting lately. We also did not get that many deferrals as we anticipated this year. So what that means is we do not anticipate being any more competitive in the admissions process next fall if we have any seniors that are thinking about applying. Okay, so I think we're gonna call it a night. Again, my email is right there. Feel free to email me with any questions. I'd be happy to get back to you right away. And then I will let our facilitator take it from here.
Okay, well, great. Thank you so much for that presentation. Looks beautiful. And thank you all for joining us. I just want to let you know that when you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We appreciate any feedback you can give us and you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so make sure you sign up for additional sessions at our website, NJACAC.org/virtual fair. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session along as well with all the other session recordings at NJACAC.org/virtual fair. Again, thank you very much. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.